Today on Skype in the Classroom, we're exploring the fascinating world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. You'll learn how AI helps us solve really big problems really fast. This gives us a chance to find real solutions to the biggest issues facing our planet. Let's get started.
Hello from Egypt!
Hello from Vietnam!
Hello from India!
Hello from Indiana in the United States.
Hello from Nigeria.
Hola from Puerto Rico.
Hi from Greece.
Hello from Canada.
Hello from Microsoft Campus in Redmond, Washington, and welcome to Skype in the Classroom. Some of you may have learned to write code, play with code, and make things with code. This series is about taking those coding skills and integrating them with your creative skills to create a true superpower. How many of you want superpower? That's what I thought, all of you. I'm Donna Sarkar, and together we'll take a journey to meet the creators using code to create a path to their dream jobs. I really love today's topic of artificial intelligence and machines making humans' lives easier, because machines have made my life easier. I'm dyslexic. I mix up letters and words when I read and write. I was diagnosed as a grown-up, so when I was a kid, I just thought I was a bad reader. As an adult, using a note-taking app like OneNote helped me a lot because it uses artificial intelligence to automatically break long words into syllables, and I can also take a picture of a word and have it read to me. This is pretty useful and very, very cool. How many of you are passionate about the environment? How many of you would consider it your dream job to help save the planet? Here are just a few examples of how AI is impacting all of our futures.
Artificial intelligence isn't coming. It's here. It's the defining technology of our time. But it's human ingenuity that makes it so powerful. Jane started losing her vision when she was 12.
California Street.
She uses Seeing AI.
I crept down the
stairs and out the door.
Which enables her to read and navigate her world. Microsoft AI is helping farmers adapt to climate change.
We can use technology to help feed the world without wrecking the planet.
Enabling wildlife conservation.
The ability to use AI really democratizes science. WildMe uses images from any source to help study endangered species.
And creating new ways for people with hearing loss to communicate.
I want the exact same information that my hearing friends have.
It's more than just imitating intelligence or sounding like a human. Microsoft AI is changing every industry, from healthcare.
And now you can see these finite details, the relationship with many structures.
To engineering. And telecommunications.
We are using artificial intelligence to change the way we are relating to customers.
AI lets us put people first.
The Microsoft tools really enabled us to breathe digital life into an iconic brand persona.
The product that we make is not a thing in a box.
No.
Microsoft AI empowers others to create experiences and potential. This is just the beginning.
Artificial intelligence, it's just opened up this whole world.
The future we invent is a choice we make.
We're joined now by Jennifer Marsman, a very talented software engineer who specializes in artificial intelligence and also works on Microsoft's AI for Earth team. Jen is a very good friend of mine and someone I admire greatly. I secretly call her Captain Planet. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Donna.
So I know how you got your start in technology, but I think everyone else would like to know as well. So would you like to share what got you interested in tech in the first place?
Well, when I was little, I had a fabulous math teacher named Mr. Carlson. Mm-hmm. And he saw that I was good at math and suggested that I learn to code and take a coding class with him. And so that's when I started programming, like some of you guys may have been doing this week. And it was so exciting to me to be able to teach a program and have a computer understand the commands that I'm giving it. And I was also very into computer games. Oh. So there was a bunch of computer games by a woman, actually, called the Sierra Games. Okay. And it was a whole bunch of really cool things, King's Quests. And do you remember that?
Yes, I love King's Quest.
Weren't they great?
I love King's Quest.
And Colonel's Request, and there were all these things. And what was really exciting is that actually, the very first thing that had a female character lead was one of the King's Quest. It was King's Quest IV. But it was so much fun to me to be a character, and I'm moving around in a world and I'm interacting with other characters and I'm asking them questions and I'm collecting objects and I'm exchanging them for other objects and to complete some mission. So that got me hooked.
So you loved that journey of a hero through this world.
I did.
Applying technology to it.
I did. And that really got me interested in programming. Right. And then from there, artificial intelligence was just so exciting. We watched the Jetsons growing up, right? And so having that robot that could help you with common tasks. And we have some of that today with Siri and Cortana and Alexa and some of these agents that can help us with common tasks.
So on top of the kind of common tasks that AI can help us out with, what are some of the reasons that a normal person would want to have AI in their lives?
Well, I think AI is great for anything that is too dull, too dirty, or too dangerous for a human. So let's think about too dull first. So one of the things that we're doing involves snow leopards. Snow leopards are a horribly endangered species. There's only about 5,000 of them left. And they're also known for being very solitary. They like to hide from people, so they're very hard to see. There's this one researcher who is doing work with snow leopards, and he's been studying them out in the mountains, these very remote, snowy mountains. And he's been out there for 11 years, and he's only seen this snow leopard twice in all that time. So it's really, they're so hard to find. And so a way we could solve that is by using cameras mounted all over the place, and then use those images to identify, oh, there's a snow leopard going through. But think about how boring that would be, Donna. Right? Like, would you want your job to be to look at all these pictures of, oh, here's a snowy mountain, here's another snowy mountain, another snowy mountain, and then once in a while, in a very few thing, you'll see an actual snow leopard. And so to be able to automate that, to have a machine do that for you in a computer, using computer vision to be able to solve that problem for you is so much, less dull than a human doing it.
That is really interesting, just to look at something that is boring and how can a machine do that for you?
Exactly.
You mentioned computer vision.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is computer vision?
So computer vision is having a computer be able to recognize objects, much like we do when we see.
Interesting.
So think about an automated car. And having to be able to drive, a car that can drive itself, an autonomous vehicle, they call it. So if a car is driving down a freeway and a leaf blows in front of it, you don't want the car to stop, because it's just a leaf. However, if a person walks out in front of a car, you don't want to hurt a person. So the car would need to stop in that case. So it's a case of being able to use computer vision and what that car actually sees to make the best decision.
So it takes these really big, complex problems like identifying a leaf versus a human, and it processes this information and does this really, really fast, even faster than a human. How does it do that?
Well, the way machine learning works is instead of what you guys are learning with coding, where you tell it, okay, first do step 1 and then step 2 and step 3, and maybe you do loops and things like that in your code, instead you give it a whole lot of examples. So if I'm trying to find examples of snow leopards, I would give a whole bunch of examples of here's pictures without snow leopards in them, and here's a bunch of pictures with snow leopards in them. And then the machine can actually figure out patterns. It can see the pattern of having, 2 eyes and a big nose and these furry ears in approximately the same ratio and proportions that look about the same. And then if there's different angles of a cat and stuff, it's really the same way we learn as babies, right? When we're kids, you start to recognize faces because you see these eyes and the nose and you recognize it's a person after you've seen it enough times. And so it's the same thing. We're just giving lots of examples and telling it, this is a snow leopard, this is not a snow leopard. And then over time, it can figure out those patterns. So instead of giving it steps, you're giving it examples.
So you mentioned artificial intelligence and also machine learning. What is the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence?
That is a great question. And even experts in the field argue about that all the time. So the way I think about it is artificial intelligence is the end goal. It's the idea of having a machine or a computer program that can help us do something. So it's artificially intelligent. It's a smart thing. Maybe it's a robot. Maybe it's just a program that can help you remember things in your calendar without you having to ask. But machine learning is the technology that enables artificial intelligence. So machine learning is the underlying, is what you can use to be able to build these artificially intelligent programs.
I would love to understand, how can our students use AI in their real lives and something they would do on a regular basis?
Yeah. Well, let's say you have taken a lot of pictures with a camera and you wanted to be able to identify someone. So let's say your mom. And so what you could do is train, we call them machine learning models, but you can essentially tell it that here's a bunch of examples of my mom, and then here's a bunch of examples of someone else. And then when you give them those examples with, we call them labels, so this picture is my mom, this picture is somebody else, and then you can build something that can be able to recognize this is a mom, this is not my mom.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the next picture that comes in, the machine will be able to say, not mom or mom.
Exactly. And they typically get better over time. So the more examples you give it, the better it learns.
I've done this, right? I've taken pictures of my family and it's now able to identify, this is your mom, this is not your mom.
That's right.
AI at work, look at that. How cool is that? So AI is this amazingly powerful tool. How are you and your teammates using AI to solve some of the biggest problems that plague our planet today?
Well, the AI for Earth team is focused especially on projects in farming and agriculture, how to increase the amount of food so that everyone has enough to eat. It's about getting clean water to people. It's about keeping a variety of animals and plants alive so that nothing goes extinct. And then we have other teams in our same organization that work on problems like helping blind people see. And they've created some amazing things as well to help kind of enable these scenarios. So there's a lot of opportunities to use AI to help people. And to hear more, let me introduce you to my teammate, Lucas Joppa.
Thank you, Jennifer and Donna, and thank you to everybody all around the world watching this. My name's Lucas Joppa. I'm the Chief Environmental Officer at Microsoft, and I lead our AI for Earth program. And like many of you, I've always been passionate about the environment and curious about computers. And I've had the opportunity to travel all around the world, including as a Peace Corps volunteer in Africa, and see firsthand the environmental challenges that we face today. And so when it came time to decide on a career, I thought it would be great to combine my early passion in the environment and this emerging interest in AI, because I thought that computer science could help me extend my positive environmental impact. And that's really the message that I'm here to deliver today, which is that no matter what you're passionate about, being able to communicate in the language of computer science, being able to code can help you go further, faster. And the reason that I'm so excited to share it today with all of you, the next generation responsible for protecting our planet and the environment, is because I hope you'll join me in learning to code for the planet. Because the problems that we face are big, but they're completely solvable, especially when we use technology to help us. So thank you for having me here, and happy coding.
That is such a good point that Lucas brought up. You don't have to love technology or think of yourself as a computer scientist to get into coding. Lucas had a deep passion for the environment, and once he applied technology to this, it really turned into a superpower that made AI for Earth possible. So speaking of, can you tell us a few of the projects that you're working on?
Of course. One of my favorites is a project called Wildbook, made by a company called WildMe. WildMe actually lets you identify animals at the individual level. So not just recognizing this is a zebra or not a zebra, but this is actually Ziggy the zebra or Zoe the zebra. So it's a really cool way to actually identify individual animals, which is great for conservation efforts. And you can use this not only for zebras, but also whale sharks, big cats with distinctive spot markings, because zebra's stripes are actually as unique as a human fingerprint. You can use that, you know how we can identify ourselves uniquely by that?
Yeah.
Same thing with zebras.
So now you can tell Ziggy apart from Zoe. Definitely not something I can do. So that's pretty cool, but why does that matter? Why do you need to tell these zebras apart?
You actually want to be able to distinguish between animals for a couple of things. If you're running a big conservation area, a lot of these mammals are very big. We can do this with elephants and zebras, and they roam really, really far. And so you can actually get accurate population estimates if you know individuals, and you can get migration patterns and kind of population densities and things like that, which are really important when some of these animals are endangered, especially when you have something where there's thousands of animals. you're never going to be able to keep track of all those manually. So having vision be able to do that, to be able to keep track of deaths when predators get them and births of new animals is really important.
So you're using social media to help you do this work.
Well, that's where the story goes from good to great. So imagine people are going on a whale watching trip, and then they take some cool video or pictures, and then they post that video to YouTube, for example. What we can do is actually they have an intelligent agent that wakes up every night at 10 p.m. and it searches the internet and finds these whale shark videos, and then they can extract out those images of whale sharks and then run that against their system. They can tell the individual whale shark, and then from the video they get their location and the approximate time. And so once you put all that information together, you have two things. So first of all, you can track individual migration paths of whales like across the water. Like, that's so amazing. And then you can also do things like create a Facebook. You could create a social graph, right? So this whale has been seen with this whale a lot. So these guys are friends. So you can do those kinds of things with whale sharks and be able to tell kind of a social network, almost a Facebook of whale sharks.
That's kind of amazing. So next time you actually take pictures of whale sharks or zebras, if you do, please upload them on YouTube, because you're now helping Jennifer's team save animals.
Yeah, well, the great folks at WildMe.
Yes.
So they're one of the many great people that we support on AI for Earth.
What are some other cool things you're working on?
Well, there's another project called Project Premonition. When people get sick, they have to go to their doctor and get a blood draw, right? So wouldn't it be cool if we could take something that's collecting random blood samples in the environment already? And those things are mosquitoes.
Oh.
I know. So a brilliant researcher thought of this idea. And so what we needed is a way to collect just mosquitoes.
Yes.
Can I show you?
Yes.
I actually have an example right here.
Did you bring mosquitoes? I hope she didn't.
Okay. So this is one example of the smart premonition trap.
Wow.
So in this particular, what this guy does is he can capture mosquitoes and only mosquitoes. So if you look in the middle, there's actually a little hole, and that's where you can put a lure. So lures just attract insects, right? So you can use anything from light, because bugs always gravitate to lights, or it could be scents or a carbon dioxide, because humans exhale carbon dioxide, so bugs are attracted to it. And so what it does then is that there's these 64 individual little cells in here, and they all have a little door that closes. And so bugs fly in and want to see the lure, so they can fly into one of these little doors. And then if it's a mosquito, and only if it's a mosquito, then boop, the trap door will snap shut.
Wow.
And you can see an example of a shut one right here. So
you've got a mosquito in there.
There's not actually a mosquito in there right now. I triggered it. But this is a great example of how you can actually use machine learning right on a device. So it's been trained with lots of pictures of mosquitoes and lots of pictures of other bugs. And so it knows how to identify a mosquito and will only catch mosquitoes. So other insects aren't disturbed in the environment. We only catch the mosquitoes. We can bring this to the lab, and from that, we can take the mosquitoes that are in there, and then using the blood that they've extracted from their meals, we can take that blood and be able to figure out what animal they fed from. Was it a dog? Was it a cow? Was it a person? And we can figure out any diseases that dog or person carried. So it's really exciting.
That is amazing. So it's able to identify a mosquito using computer vision?
It is actually not using computer vision. What it's doing is essentially cueing off of the wing beat speed of the insect. So there's a little pixel sensor here that captures light, essentially. And so every time, and it's a really small one, so as bugs fly in and their wings are going, it blocks the sun for just a second, depending on how fast those wings are beating. And so it's using the data from those kind of light sensors, and it's just a really small one as you cross there, and then it will snap up if it recognizes that it's a mosquito.
I will ask you 150 questions about this. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. But let's actually let some of our students ask you questions. We've had students from all over the world submit questions, and here's our first one.
Hi, my name is Paula Torres. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm in junior high school, and my question is, do you have any fears about the future of artificial intelligence? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. It's a great one. I think that you may be thinking about some of the things that Hollywood talks about with AI and kind of robots taking over and stuff like that. And I recognize, I think any new technology is scary. When factories first came out, during the Industrial Revolution, people were really scared because they were afraid that assembly lines were taking away their jobs. But what we did was we actually innovated and we started thinking of new jobs, and we've created things like, computer science, which didn't exist since then. So I feel like if we have AI to do some of these simple things for us that are too dirty, too dull, and too dangerous, then we can free us up to think about the things that we really care about.
I love this too dirty, too dull, too dangerous. I'm going to use it all the time. Let's go to our next question.
Hi, I'm Leon, and I'm studying computer science in Wales. And I really like artificial intelligence, and I was just wondering, how do I get into it?
That's a great question. 10 points to Gryffindor. So you can get started using machine learning in a couple different ways. If you want to learn machine learning, I would recommend taking some online courses. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Coursera has some great resources. Microsoft's data science, we have a certification in an online academy. The AI School.microsoft.com is an amazing resource. And there's also a website called Kaggle. And so if you want to practice machine learning, you can actually get cool problems to solve and cool data sets to solve them with. So all of those things can help you build machine learning skills.
So what if you just want to get started by playing with AI, experiencing it a little bit more?
Well, there's an amazing application that you can download for your smartphone from iNaturalist, who's one of our AI for Earth partners. And grab your phone, Donna. Okay. So if I am out doing a nature walk and I see any kind of an animal or plant, I can actually take a picture of it using iNaturalist. I can take that picture and then it will show me exactly what type of animal or plant that is. So I can take this picture of this. This is a little sprig of rosemary that we happen to have here. And when I take that picture, it actually shows that it is, in fact, rosemary. And you can do that by hitting the View Suggestions button. So it's a great way to actually see some of that computer vision and being able to recognize different plants and animals right from your own phone.
The Hunger Games people would have been really beneficial by having this app.
Knowing what berries were?
Exactly.
Yes.
And look, we have another question.
My name is Makai, and I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm a 5th grader in the United States. Do you think AI can be used for sports or music or even dance?
AI can definitely be used to help with sports and music and dance. So I know some teammates of mine have done some amazing work with the U.S. ski team and have been able to actually take all of this information, capture all this data as people have been skiing down a hill. And then you can use machine learning to make predictions of okay, here's the optimal angle. This is what causes the best run, digging in more here and kind of understanding those angles at a deeper level. And so we've been able to do that with golf swings, with perfecting a golf swing, with skiing and several other sports applications. But it can really help you hone your abilities as an athlete. As well as things like dance and music. So there's been a lot of work in the AI community around trying to have artificial intelligence that can create music. And that's a really exciting field of study to try to infuse some of these more creative applications to AI, because it's not currently very good at that yet. But there's a really cool thing called recurrent neural nets that are making some great progress with that, and GANs as well.
Again, technology and creativity together is a superpower.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for answering these amazing questions from our student today. I'm going to download that app for real as soon as we finish up here and go and find out what that creature is that's living in my backyard.
It's so much fun.
If you have something you'd like to know more about, at the end of the show, use the live chat Q&A to enter your questions, and Jennifer will answer them live. We're almost out of time here. But in just a few minutes, we're going to give all of you watching a chance to take a selfie with Jennifer. But before we do that, is there a piece of advice you'd like to leave our students with today?
Most definitely. So the best advice I can think of is don't be afraid to fail. I think every time I've done something and it's been successful, I kind of understood how to do it and I just did it. But failure is where you really learn. Right? If you don't really completely understand how to solve a problem and you go out there and you mess it up, you've learned something. So that's where you grow, is when you actually fail.
Right.
So my biggest thing would be just don't be afraid to fail. Be curious, ask questions, try lots of new things, and you'll go far.
It's like machine learning, right? Because you had to show not real rosemary to actually train this app.
That's true.
Rosemary, not rosemary.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
So you, in fact, are doing machine learning every time you fail.
We are. Real learning.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much for being here. It's now time for our selfie. Teachers, please gather your students around the screen for a quick selfie and make sure to share it with us on Twitter. We would love to amplify and share your classroom. You can tweet us at Skype Classroom. We'll give you a few minutes to get set up.
Yeah. Here, let's get set up, Donna.
Let's get set up.
All right.
Let's get set up. Okay.
All right.
Okay, hope you're all ready for our picture. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Selfie.
Here, let's switch. You take this.
True.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Jennifer. I learned a ton, and I know the students did too. If you've enjoyed this episode of Meet the Code Creators, there are 4 more you can view. You can hear from 2 artists using code to create wearable technology, go behind the scenes with Minecraft, learn how computer science brought the magical illustrations of a Harry Potter book to life, and hear about how technology is used to animate movies like Coco and The Incredibles 2. For all of you educators watching, you can find more guest speakers, go on virtual field trips with your class any time of the year through Skype in the Classroom. That's all we've got for you. Thank you so much for joining us again. On behalf of Skype in the Classroom, Code.org, we wish all of you code creators the very best as you bring your ideas to life.